What is up? This is Redeemer and Red5.
Yay!
We're watching the Nintendo Treehouse Live E3 2016. Right now, actually, we're not entirely done, but it looks like they're going to show off a lot more Zelda than what we've already seen, and we should really take a break here and talk about things that we've taken in, because it looks like there's so much material to talk about, and I feel like I'm just going to, be completely floored by the end of all this. So, Redeemer, please go ahead before I say anything. What do you think?
What do I think, Red5? I think, a few questions have been answered. It's been confirmed there is technology in the universe. It was quite obvious from the first trailer or teaser that we saw, but from the very beginning, the technology is apparently very, very advanced.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of glowing stuff. It's actually kind of sci-fi as well. I would say it's really quite, I don't know, kind of like Laputa, Castle in the Sky. This game seems to have partly voice acting. There's voice acting at the beginning. There's someone telling Link to open his eyes, and yeah, it's not with every character, because later on, at the beginning of the game, there's an old man somewhere, some kind of hermit. That's just your usual text that you read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure how I feel about voice acting in one of my favourite franchises, because the last time voice acting was introduced to a favourite franchise of mine, Final Fantasy X was born, and that was a bit lackluster for me.
I mean, that's more about the quality, not so much the very concept of voice acting, though, right?
Yeah, no, I just think that the break from complete textual dialogue to vocal dialogue, I think it either makes or breaks a franchise, in my opinion. So yeah, Red5, the new Zelda is called Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that? I think it's quite cute.
I love the title, and not only do I love the title, but I also love the setting. I feel like it's a beautiful title for what this game is, at least I think, trying to show, which is a completely immersive world that seems to be very quiet, very somber in a way. But there's like this energy coming from it. Like there's a lot of adventure there that I feel like you can be the master of. You can be the director of how to take the adventure and everything. So it's like your playground. I mean, we even saw in the trailer before we saw the actual gameplay here at the Nintendo Treehouse that you can change the environment. You have the power to influence the water level and things like that. I have to look at that again. But it really feels like there's this playground that in itself is like this alive thing that you can nurture and that you can basically grow. And I feel like that's a very good title. Do you like it too?
Yeah, I really love how the title is also decorated. There's like little plants and stuff growing out of the Z, and it really gives the feeling of when I look at the environment, it looks completely untamed. It looks like a land that lost itself to a battle or something, and it's sort of recovered after the calm after the storm, and it's grown absolutely wild. The beginning of the game that what's that guy's name? What's his face was playing through?
Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Bill was playing through the first. I don't know, as far as he could. Sadly, the demo kind of messed up and he had to start all over again, and he couldn't progress as much as he wanted to.
I felt so bad for him. He looked so nervous.
It's okay, he made up for it with his little bomb project. It's fine. I love the environment. It really reminds me of... You said this to me, and I think we also kind of thought this when we saw the first trailer with Link riding on Epona, and like there's the giant robot, but it's just so Ghibli as well. It's not just Laputa, Castle in the Sky. It also really has the same kind of atmosphere as Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
This is as Ghibli as it gets.
And really retro Ghibli, like early Ghibli as well.
I like the piano and everything.
Everything. It's just beautiful, and I also think that the scenery, the art style in particular, is very much like Skyward Sword, except with more detail. In Skyward Sword, you had your problem where you would look into the distance and everything would take on this kind of like watercolor kind of blurry palette, and you couldn't really see any of the detail, which was a shame because Skyward Sword actually had some very lovely environments to offer. But with this, it's actually very detailed. You can see so far into the distance, and okay, I play a lot of new games like Witcher 3 and everything, and it's typical that when you look into the distance and you see a mountaintop and the horizon, you can usually go to it because the world is so big.
Sure.
But I'm just so happy to see this come to Zelda finally, and when Link finally comes to the point in the intro where the world is presented to you, you see in the distance Death Mountain, you see what I think is the castle, I'm assuming from the map. What was really interesting to me is that I'm not sure, but I think this is probably based in the Hyrule from Twilight Princess, because we saw the Bridge of Eldin, didn't we?
I think we might have. I had the same impression there as well, but there are a couple of other things which make it very confusing what timeline this really is.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm not sure. I want to say it looks like it's at the very end of everything, but at the same time I don't want to say that because like we have our project which is also set at the very end of everything.
It would be hell of a coincidence.
If it would clash, I'd be like, no, our thunder.
I mean, it's something we do for us as well. Actually, let's talk about that real quick. Well, I thought the very first time we actually saw the footage of this Zelda in 2014, I mean, I don't know if you can say predicted or not. I was not one of the very first or whatever, but I still had a journal from back then where I was like, guys, wouldn't it be cool if this was basically like a post-apocalyptic world where it's set in the future. It's like the first Zelda kind of set far into the future, but so far that civilization has kind of went back to its roots, you know. But like it was flourishing with all kinds of technology and all kinds of other wonders like that. And I love that we are that far into the future, if we really are, because it does go back to more simpler art style, but at the same time it has this like sense of you want to discover exactly what this world is all about, which I think is very important for Zelda because it is supposed to be an adventure. It's supposed to make you want to go out and explore, not just for the sake of, oh, that tree looks interesting, but also because you want to know about the world.
The thing I'm most excited about with Breath of the Wild is just completely exploring, just having the pure freedom to explore.
Oh, we're actually looking at more Zelda here, so we're going to tune back in very soon.
Okay, we're back. We just watched the second part of the Nintendo Treehouse 2016. We saw more Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This time a lady called Chico or something was playing, and she was pretty funny. She really helped highlight the tiny little aspects of the game that a lot of people would probably overlook or not really be interested in. I found it entertaining. Red Fag, what did you think of what you saw there? Obviously she had made quite a bit of progress.
Well, I actually really like how seamless everything seems to be in this game. Like generally the area seems to be not divided in specific, sections of the game, as in like here's that part of the game that you have to do these kind of things and everything, like it's going to be cut off from the rest of the world with like a cutscene or something like that. It's just, the only differentiation between two different areas is really literally the graphics. It's like this is the snowy part, this is the desert part or whatever. They're all like it feels like this one world.
Yeah.
And I'm also really hoping that the weather system and the day and night system is actually not limited to an overworld, which this game doesn't seem to have. It seems to have omitted just the overworld, and it's just this one world with all the cities and everything included. So hopefully it's this thing that happens all the time, so it's more seamless, because that's something that I've always felt was really annoying when I was playing Twilight Princess last year on the GameCube, not the Wii U version, but this is when it was quite late and into its release, but for the first time I was like, wow, it's so annoying that when you're in like a city, when you're in a town, it's always day. It's never gonna turn into night or whatever. So that really fucked up my wanting to go out and hunt Poes and everything. But then you're in the overworld, it does have that system, so I felt so incredibly severed from that.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's something that has changed.
can I just kind of get something off my chest right now?
Sure.
Because there's something that's really messing with my head. I want to talk about the intro that we saw right at the beginning.
Sure.
Link wakes up and from what we can see, Link is male. I don't know if you'll have the option to change to a female Link or whatever, but in this version he was definitely male because he was lying shirtless in some kind of pool of water. And this is where like this voice comes in and you hear like this actual vocal dialogue, open your eyes or something. And you look around and you're in a place called the Shrine of Resurrection. Was Link resurrected? Is this them? What did he die and was he resurrected, or were they trying to channel the spirit of the hero into somebody? Were they trying to resurrect the hero? Were they trying to awaken him? What is that? I'm so curious.
It's really funny that you're saying that because the last thing was what I was thinking as well. It's like they're trying to speak to someone that they already know, and he has been warped into this world that he doesn't even know. So it really sounds like they're trying to channel the spirit of the hero and everything.
I'm so curious.
It would make sense if this was the timeline of when Ganondorf does take over and everything, and Link does not get reborn again for for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then they would have to use different things.
Do you know what would be a real asshole thing of Ganon to do if he kind of realised this whole like rebirth thing and this like reincarnation thing, and if he caught Link in a permanent cycle of like being kept alive so that he never died and he could never be reborn.
Sure, that would But let's talk about that beginning actually, because I really love how it looks so different. I mean, yes, obviously is it a room? Is it like the chamber, should you say, or like the shrine?
The Shrine of Resurrection.
Well, whatever it is, it's obviously actually building there in the.
Yeah, it's in a cave. It's in a cave inside a cliff.
But it looks like it was a spaceship at some point, or it's supposed to look kind of like a spaceship. Yeah, everything
looks really glowy and
I mean even the floors and the walls, they all look like they're like brain patterns or something.
It looks like the Twilight Realm, but with different colors other than green.
The funny thing is that it looks incredibly organic and technological at the same time. As I said, it really looks like you're inside like a brain almost, and that is so different from the rest of the world, which is so much close to nature. So I feel like there is that fish out of water story from a Link that has been brought back or resurrected or whatever, from this technological point of view into this wild world, which I guess doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, this discussion is going to be obsolete in the next couple of days because they're probably going to reveal that. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, but it's nice to speculate. I
don't actually want to watch much more. I feel like I'm kind of spoiling it for myself. I love being surprised. I don't want to watch people play through the beginning of the game because that's something I enjoy doing myself.
I mean, they're skipping around a lot, so we're just gonna keep going and return.
It was really nice to see a familiar species. Mm-hmm. The Koroks made an appearance, so it's nice to know they're still around. Then again, that kind of makes me question what I said earlier, because if it is set like in the Twilight Princess Hyrule, then wait, where's Wind Waker in the timeline again? I forget.
It's different from.
It's different. Then it makes no sense that the Koroks are there, right?
Well, unless the Kokiri actually do evolve like that naturally somehow anyway, but like that's stretching it. Mm. And like it's something that really worried me though was, I'm not sure who was said in the stream, but they were like, I've always really liked these characters and they just had to be in there. So it feels like, are you just like taking things and putting them there, or are you actually? Well,
why not? If you were making another game in the chain of a franchise that you birthed and everything, and you have like favorite aspects, wouldn't you want to put them all together anyway?
No, I would try to make it make sense. If I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that I hope they're not.
Obviously, they found them so charming, they just had to put them in. I don't see any shame in that. If they want to do that, they don't have to completely struggle to find continuity and everything.
Considering this is a game about exploration and really wanting to find out about the world, as they have said as well, I feel like a lot of things have to make sense. Zelda has always had that quirk of like putting characters and different things in their games that seem to kind of not make too much sense. They're like charming, so who knows what that is.
Isn't it great that Link can actually finally jump on his own without running off a ledge?
When I first saw that, I mean, I was, I gasped. I was like, are they actually doing that? I mean, it's like not super, something new, because games have always done that. In fact, when Ocarina of Time came out, people were wondering like, why can't you jump? And like, that's really strange, right? But it makes sense here. It does make sense because you're climbing a lot. You're very agile. You are. It feels like they are really letting you explore every inch of this world. And in order for you to do that, you have to be a little bit more agile like that. You have to be able to jump around and climb around and see this world from a different perspective, which I think makes the old way of playing Zelda quite obsolete. And what do you think about that?
Do you know what it feels like to me? It feels like Nintendo has kind of looked at all the new games that are out, and they're kind of like, okay, we need a really, really big modern makeover with the new Zelda, because everything I've seen today is really reminiscent of all these games that they've been playing recently. You've got your maximum capacity weight when it comes to items you're carrying. You have interchangeable weapons, stamina bar, and then of course there's this Sheikah slate, and it kind of acts like a scanner as well, and you set targets, and then you have the map system which shows your target and everything, and kind of it really reminds me of the map system in The Witcher, actually, in The Witcher 3. It's nice. Not to mention, of course, the open world is obviously nice. I like it. I like the way it's going. Yeah, I've got a very, very positive impression from everything. And
I mean, don't you just love that you can take an enemy's arm and beat them with it?
Yeah, that was...
That's in a Zelda now.
Yeah. And also, I appreciate how they've kind of fixed the whole runaway bomb thing by changing their shape.
Yeah, actually, now you have also the square bombs, so they're not going to roll around when you're like on a hill or something like that, or like a not very steady plateau, which give me a lot of but it made me more interested in the world, because now it really makes sense that everything is more of an organic shape. It's more of a a world that, okay, sure, it might have been designed for players to explore, but it really exists for itself in a way, where it's like it doesn't make too many compromises for the player's convenience. So instead of the world having to adjust to you, you adjust to the world through different items, which I think is quite essential to the idea of exploration.
And not just your items, as well, your clothing.
And your clothing. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, you have to wear different clothing depending on the environment, which we've already seen before, way back in Ocarina of Time, your red tunic, your blue tunic.
Sure.
But we saw that as Link approached this kind of mountainous, snowy area, he began to get cold, and you had to put on thicker clothing. So it's not like you have a special tunic or anything, you just have to kind of use your common sense and think, okay, how do I keep warm? I put on a quilted jacket, I put on warmer clothing. And
it's not just your tunic, it's not just your outfit, you also can change your pants. I mean, you could just walk around with heavy armor probably, and shorts.
You can also just walk around in your boxer shorts.
You could do that too, but what's the significance? Why can you do that?
Well, you lose health in cold areas and warm areas and stuff if you're not protected.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just mean, it's actually really interesting that you can choose and swap between different clothing, instead of just having your this is your battle armor, this is your cold area armor, and so on. Which actually makes me wonder if there is some sort of RPG element to resistance or speed and things like that, or if it's just more of a general idea of this is probably going to keep you warm, this is probably going to make you a little bit faster, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. I think it's safe to say we're definitely going to get this game. I don't think there's anything that could really repel me from it right now.
No, actually, I just, I'm really happy about its presentation as well. Sure, maybe a lot of people were expecting a little bit more of a cinematic experience, because of its so strange setting, like they really just want to see the answers and they want to, see a little bit of a different approach there. But what we've got here is actually more of a, look, this is a video game. These are the things you can do, and you are the master of this, of your own adventure, which I appreciate a lot. And I would just love to do that right now. I would love to just dive into this version of Hyrule and just explore things,
Yeah.
Now I'm only wondering, okay, they are showing the Wii U version, the Sheikah Slate is very reminiscent of the Wii U controller.
Yeah, obviously it's completely transplanted over, yeah.
I mean, is this an indication as to how the NX controller is going to look like? I mean, obviously we know that it's like going to be like a screen or whatever. It's probably going to be the whole console. It's not just the controller.
I have no idea. I don't even know what it looks like. I've not been really keeping up to date with that because I've been studying so much. I'm kind of out of the loop when it comes to the new console.
Right, sure, of course. I'm just saying, I wonder just how much they want to integrate the functionality of the NX as opposed to just the Wii U, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect Wii U title,
Yeah. I'm hoping they don't kind of concentrate on the new console too much, because then I'm going to kind of feel like I'm not getting the maximum experience I could get, and I don't really feel like buying a brand new console just for this one game. Like I don't have the financial resources for that, and it's also quite insulting because the whole reason we got a Wii U is because we did also assume that Zelda Wii U would be released and it would be for the Wii U.
Sure.
It was dubbed by everyone Zelda Wii U for a time, and then it was delayed, and then I would kind of feel a bit, I don't know, just really annoyed. Like I kind of bought the Wii U for sort of nothing.
Well, that's not true, but the deal is that I don't know if that's okay to say, but I really hope that the NX version is not going to be graphically superior or whatever, because that would make the Wii U version just like completely obsolete.
Even if it was, I wouldn't mind, because the Wii U, I'm so happy with how the Wii U performs. And back when we got the Wii U, I was really, really hyped for a new Zelda, way back at the beginning, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm so glad we got this, I can't wait for the next Zelda, and blah blah blah. And then of course we had Wind Waker HD, and that hypes me up even more.
Yeah, exactly.
So if this doesn't focus on the functionality of the Wii U, I'm going to be pretty bitter. I'm going to be a bit salty.
You're going to be salty?
I'm going to be salty.
Alright.
But I think, that's, I've got nothing to be afraid of. The Sheikah Slate is obviously the Wii U pad.
Unless there's going to be another version of Breath of the Wild, which basically is going to have a different kind of Sheikah Slate, and it's going to be more like the NX version or something like that. But I don't know. I don't want to speculate about that too much. I feel like that's just, taking it a little bit too far. And we are going to see after all anyway. Do you have anything more on your list there?
I don't know, do you want to talk about Pokemon?
Oh, you want to talk about Pokemon? Alright, sure, you go ahead and talk about Pokemon. All I can say is that I really love the setting. I love how everything is in proportion and everything. There's really not that much to say for me personally, but I really like it. Not sure if I'm going to pick it up right away, but I really would not mind playing that game.
I'm actually thinking about ordering Sun and Moon already, like pre-ordering.
Okay. Alright.
I want to first of all check and see if there's any bonus that comes with pre-ordering, because if we get anything for that, I would like to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I like the new starters. I'm definitely going to get Litten.
Are you?
Yeah. Who are you going to get? You're going to get Poplio?
No, I'm gonna.
You're gonna get Poplio.
No, I'm not gonna get Poplio.
You're gonna get Poplio.
I would get
Rowlet.
What's his name?
Rowlet.
I would get
owl.
Alright, Rowlet. Okay. Yeah.
He's the only starter that's a two-type Pokemon. The rest are just fire, water, but he's actually grass and flying.
Grass and flying. Alright.
Makes sense because he's like a plant owl. But
he's a plant owl. Sure. No, I mean
totally
he's so adorable, and if anything, I would get that. Well, what's really interesting when I say adorable is that what? No, I'm not. They actually keep saying how cute these Pokemon are. And that's not something they used to say. Back in the 90s, I remember Pokemon were badass. Sure, you had your cute Pokemon, and your mascot, Pikachu, is cute. Sure.
And then you had your like awe-inspiring Pokemon that you were supposed to kind of think, oh wow, this is amazing, this legendary.
Yeah, but even like your mascot Pokemon, which was Pikachu, had this ability of being badass. You know, it was like this overpowered.
Is also completely badass. Raichu is definitely like the big bully form of Pikachu.
But then you also had the starters, like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, and they all had this like dinosaurish kind of cheeky design to them and everything.
Yeah.
And it was always like, sure, they're kind of cute, but they're also badass, and they're gonna turn into like tanks.
Yeah, they basically turn into dragons.
They all, and with this, they're all like, we really wanted to make them cute, even their animations and everything. So you actually want to reach out and touch them, which I really feel like. That's interesting. I do not oppose that idea whatsoever, but it does sound like they're trying to pander to an audience that likes cutesy stuff a little bit more.
Definitely a younger audience as well, to kind of pull in new fans, I think.
I mean, if we're going to go by cliches, I would say younger and girls as well. But, I mean, it's always, that doesn't mean shit anyway. I mean, anyone can find cute things cute. I mean, I like cute things, I would be like, I'm okay with that, But to me, Pokemon has now become two things, There's the old Pokemon, which I absolutely adore. And then there's a new Pokemon, which I've had a lot of problems with up until X and Y. And now I'm totally okay with, especially with X and Y and Sun and Moon. But I feel like that's just another Pokemon, And I'm okay with it being slightly different. But if they actually went back to Red and Blue, whatever, and tried to make everything cute there again, like they changed the main character a little bit to look more like skinny and girly, and I'm like, nah, that's just not the character of like Red, of how he was supposed to be designed. I'm okay with that if they don't do that. But with a new Pokemon, they can do whatever they want as long as it makes sense in itself and is appealing in one way or another.
I really enjoy. I love cute Pokemon. I love cute things. Anyone that knows me loves that. Anyone that knows me knows that I love anything adorable. I go nuts for cute things, but I also appreciate it when my cute Pokemon evolve into something badass. I don't want them to be cute forever, because it's also my choice if I want to evolve them. If I want to keep them cute, then I won't evolve them. If I want them to, if I use them for battle specifically, then I will obviously help them with evolution or whatever. But yeah, you don't mind people knowing that you like cute things? Is it okay then if I tell people that you follow Smoothie the Cat on Instagram?
What? No.
Actually, I know.
Can we talk about like Pokemon again?
I know this Poplio starter gets a lot of hate and everything, but I actually think there's a really cute charm about him as well, because he kind of reminds. No, listen, don't look at me like that. Listen, he reminds me of Snubble. He's got like a frilly collar just like Snubble, and I love Snubble.
If he reminded me of Snubble, I would be okay with that. But he reminds me of that Italian seal from Madagascar 3. I just don't want Pokemon.
But he was cute too.
To
he was
draw
like
inspiration
so
from
nice, and he was so loyal to his friends, and he knew the true meaning of friendship.
I like Madagascar 3. I love Madagascar 1 and 2, but I don't really like it, like 3 as much, because it probably has Katy Perry. And if I make that connection, I'm sorry. I just can't. Yeah, she has a song in Madagascar 3.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention. Okay.
So it just reminds me of that and the misery that I felt watching that character that, goes like that.
The legendaries in Sun and Moon, which one would you prefer to have? Did you want Sun or do you want Moon?
Ooh, this is really hard for me to say, but if anything, I would probably say Sun, because I like lions.
Yeah.
It's the symbol of my people.
Assyrians.
Yes, and
Put that in Assyrians.
But I'm not sure. I would have to look at them more thoroughly. I'm not entirely sure just what I like better.
Yeah, I think that's reason enough. I would like Moon because bats are also the symbol of my people, vampires.
In Transylvania?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I actually wanted Sun as well. I've been telling people I want Sun, but if you're gonna get Sun, then there's no point in me getting Sun. I may as well get Moon.
I mean, that doesn't really bother me too much anyway. If anything, I would just get any Because I mean, I am looking forward to this generation, but you seem to be more into it right now. So if anything, if I wanted to like play that, I would probably choose the other version that you would like least from them.
If you want to like your ideal legendary, his name's Solgaleo.
Right.
He's a psychic and steel type.
He's psychic and steel?
Psychic and steel. Yeah, and
alright.
My legendary, I guess, the bat is called Lunala, and he's psychic and ghost. Now I think that's a really weird combination considering.
Have we had that before?
I don't know. Nothing really comes to mind, but I'm kind of sure there was something like that.
Psychic and ghost, probably in the in the newer generations, because back then there were only 3 Pokemon that were ghosts.
Yeah,
that was so crazy.
You had Gengar, Haunter, and Ghastly.
Exactly, and it was really strange that you had this entire type for only 3 Pokemon. But I mean, they've elaborated on that, so we have a lot more. But concerning Psychic and Ghost, that's something that I've always had issues with. And when I was playing Pokemon, like I would say like 2 years ago more actively, I knew exactly what was what. But even now, what is super effective against what? Is it Ghost?
It's Ghost that's super effective against Psychic, because remember Ash needed Ghastly's help to beat Sabrina.
Then it must be the other way around, right?
How could you not remember that?
Because that's my point, because it's exactly the opposite in games, but I've heard that they changed that around, and they changed that around again, or something? And that's something that I don't know. It's just really strange. I remember that from Pokemon as well. I mean, I will never forget those episodes, because they were actually some of my favorites, definitely, from the entire series. But I was always angry about how that just didn't make sense in the video games. So I'm still not entirely sure.
Lunala, I wonder what it feels to be 2 types, one of which is super effective against the other. If you're having a bad day, it could be. No, I really like how cute this new generation is. We saw a couple of new Pokemon as well, new cute ones, little cuties. Youngus and
oh my god, that's
Picky Pick.
They're actually so cute, aren't they?
I really want a Youngus. I think I'm gonna allow that to be in my main team, because I love his little jaggy teeth.
That's really good. I really like the design. I mean, see, if these Pokemon were introduced into the first generation, I would hate them. All of them. All the starters, every single one, even the legendaries. I would hate them. But as I said, because like I feel like there's a second Pokemon, it does make sense, and it does look a whole lot better than what I've seen in, like, what is that, the 4th or 5th generation? Man, that is some ugly shit we got there.
Yeah, they went through their kind of awkward teenage puberty phase.
They were teenagers. They were ugly, and they were stinky. I didn't want that.
You were stinky.
Teenagers are so unfortunate, but like. You know, it's fine for what it is right now in that generation. And this laptop's getting really hot in my lap here. Damn, feel that.
Oh my god. That's really warm, right, Pi?
Right, okay. So we ended up talking about Pokemon as well. I guess.
Yeah, Pokemon's worth talking about.
Pardon?
Pokemon's worth talking about.
It is worth talking about.
It was nice to see the gameplay. And
yeah.
We never saw anything from the new Pokédex up until this point, but you get to see the stat changes as well when you do things like Growl and Tail Whip and stuff.
Oh yeah, how does that work?
I don't know. You like on your lower screen, you have like the sprites of the Pokemon, and then you click on those sprites to see what their statuses are with their attack, their agility, and blah 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 or whatever. I don't know.
Oh sure, yeah. If you
actually use like, you know, an attack that lowers their defense, you click on that sprite and it'll show you how much you've lowered their defense.
I am amazed that only now are we getting a system like that.
Yeah,
like, before
right?
we've
It's
always...
kind of a bit late.
I mean, maybe it's not so bad before, because it kind of keeps you mentally engaged. Like, you always have to kind of remember what happened and kind of, you know, like count in your head, maybe.
Yeah, sure, but it can sometimes get to the point where you're not sure where you're at, because I'm pretty sure all of us have been in battles where the battles have been relatively tough, and the opponent has been using like attack power dropping attacks and everything, and then you try to up your attack because it's your last Pokemon. You haven't been to a Pokemon Center in ages. You're in the middle of a cave or whatever. You really need to like win this fight, and you keep trying to raise your attack again, and they continue lowering your attack, and then you're in this horrible circle of like not being able to attack properly because of the status ailment. It's good to keep track of it.
And then of course you want to try out your attack or whatever to see just how much it's been lowered. And once you reach the state of trial and error in a Pokemon game, I think maybe that is hindering the gameplay. So I'm really happy that we finally do have this overview. I mean, it never occurred to me as well. I don't know. I mean, I've always had that issue, but I was never like, man, I really wish we had that table, because I felt like there was already enough shit.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really glad we got that, because it just made me think specifically to a battle I had. I hadn't been to a Pokemon Center in God knows how long, and if I lost that fight, I would have lost so much progress, because I also was stupid and I didn't save frequently enough, and I was so desperate to win this fight because I didn't want to lose like 3 hours of progress or something, and my opponent, the asshole, was just lowering my attack constantly, and my attacks were only taking off like 2 HP or something, and I kept trying to raise my attack, and I just lost track of where I was, and I think the opponent maybe did as well, and it got to the point where my attack couldn't get any lower, and it was just an absolute mess. And this is why I'm really thankful for this particular status display. So yeah, that was a traumatic experience for me.
I bet. The asshole. What was his last name?
Fucker.
Asshole fucker? Oh no. They're getting too mature in these games. But I can't believe how long this treehouse thing is actually going. But
yeah, I don't want to watch anymore because I'm just ruining it for myself. I love the mysteries of new games. I don't like seeing people play games before I get to play them. You know, I've already seen enough and I know what to expect, and I don't really want to see much more because I love being surprised.
I mean, I like being on top of things, especially with Zelda, because I feel like I have this certain kind of responsibility towards also my watchers and everything. You know, I deliver a lot of Zelda art, whatever, and I feel like I have to be up to date, you know, of like the lore and things like that, but that's hindering my fun as well, because I do want to explore as well.
Yeah, it's nice to keep up with things like that, but at the same time, like, I think people can still tell nevertheless whether you've actually played a game or not.
Sure. I mean, you know me, I'm actually like a really like hardcore let things be the way they are. Like I'm so self-destructive with like my thinking of ignorance is bliss. I do not want to know anything about this. I just want to go in, and if I lose, I'm not going to load back or whatever. I'm just going to live with the consequences, you know? Like, you know how hardcore I am about that, because I just want that ultimate experience of actually feeling, being in this world or whatever. So maybe the less I watch, the better, but I really just wanted to know what the idea behind it is, and I think we actually got a really good look of what the new Zelda is trying to display. If someone came to me and explained these things like we are right now to our listeners, I wouldn't quite get it. So it's important for you to go out and actually watch some footage, let it sink it in, let it have an effect on you, and see how you deal with it, because it's an experience,
Yeah, I would even say I watched a little bit too much today. I kind of feel like I've spoiled myself a little bit. I saw the Temple of Time, and I wasn't expecting it to really be like that for some reason, and I would have loved to have found that out myself. Like, I'll never forget when I played Ocarina of Time for the first time, and I went back to Lake Hylia as an adult. I went back on foot, actually. I didn't, like, fly with the owl or whatever. I don't know how you can get there another way, but I went there on foot. And then I went in for the first time as an adult, and the camera like panned across, and I saw the lake all dried up. It was like almost empty and everything. I got the shock of my life. I love being shocked like that. I love being presented with an environment that's completely opposite of what I expected, but is still pleasantly accepted. I love that feeling. It's just really, I don't know, there's a lot of nostalgia there, yeah, sure, but there's also the element of discovery and adventure, and this is what I love about Zelda, and I kind of want to keep that right now and not watch any more footage.
Then let's create nostalgia for the future. Once this game comes out, let's have a blast with it, so that 10 years down the line or whatever, we're gonna remember playing Breath of the Wild, and it's going to be this amazing experience for us. I can only suggest that for everyone. So I guess that was that. We both are really looking forward